Hi everyone, how are you? Congratulations to all the people who have finished. We had quite a big group of people finish last week, which was absolutely fantastic. We have a lot of people into their last week this week. I've spoken or heard from a lot of mentor teachers over the last week. And it sounds like most of you are doing a fabulous job. We have some people like Thomas who have got a bit of a nerve-wracking week this week because they've been doing such a good job. The deputy principal's coming in to see them because they're thinking of employing them in the future. So congratulations, Thomas. But we've also got a lot of people in their final week. They're doing really well. And it's this week where you've really got to shine and put all that work in. And that can be really stressful, especially we know a lot of you are putting stress on yourselves. And from that, that can lead to illness. So we have a few people who are really sick, shingles and jaw locking, and a lot of really bad colds and sicknesses happening. And this has got a lot to do with the stress levels that you're putting yourself under. So when you get really stressed, you trigger the flight fright response, and that pushes a whole lot of adrenaline into your system. Now, because we aren't running away from a tiger, we're not going to be using that adrenaline through sport or activity, and it's very hard to get enough exercise when you are on placement and you've got such a big workload with so many lesson plans. So that raises the cortisol levels, and it also can affect your thyroid and hormone levels, which then causes a lot of different reactions throughout your body. And this is where your immune system might become compromised, as in the case with shingles and a lot of those illnesses, or you might end up feeling really shaky and stressed out all the time and not reacting normally. So it is really important that if you can, you get some exercise, but also so that you can break that response, that you take time, just small bits out of the time, to totally distract yourself and not be on the treadmill. Um, Whether it is going for a walk, playing with your dog, playing with the children, playing a game. I use Candy Crush sometimes when I want to just totally break out from whatever I'm thinking about because it brainwashes you. And something like that, read a book, something where it takes your mind right out of it and you stop that whole response and thing going on. And then you'll find you'll come back to it a lot more refreshed. But it is important that you are looking after your health, because if you don't look after yourself, you can't look after anyone else. You can't continue with your placement properly. You can't be the normal person, the normal, happy, friendly, relaxed person you are, and your brain doesn't work the same way. So it is really, really important. It might not seem that important, but it's probably more important than finishing that final bit on your lesson plan right now to take 5 minutes and just break, just so that you can avoid getting sick, especially in that last really high pressure week. But go, I'm hoping to hear more fantastic reports. I've got huge pile of interim and final reports at the moment that I've been gradually going through. That's why I've been contacting all the mentor teachers to just clarify everything in them. So keep up the great work with that. That is fantastic. Now, tomorrow we have task 2 due. If you are having any trouble at all, let me know and we'll get an extension put in for you, because I don't want you to get yourself too stressed out over it. We've had people asking about references. There should be references in it. They can come from this unit, they can come from your own readings, they could come from PD that the school is using, text the school is using. They could come from other units which have included diversity. They could, or assessment units or ICT units. All of those can give you really good scholarly references or good PD references that you can use. So don't feel bad about using those. Also refer to anywhere that you got the lesson plans or the lesson ideas from, any textbooks. I know we have a few people working in explicit teaching schools, so it's very important to refer back to the theory that they're using, so that that makes sense when you're reading your whole assignment of why you're doing it the way that you're doing it. Um, yeah, go through and really look at those things as well because they're important. In the reflection, it is up to you. It is your reflection on your lesson. You might have since then had some PD or had something that made you think, wow, I should have done this a different way. You might refer there, and that's where you might bring in your references for that. But you don't have to have references in the reflection, it is entirely up to you. Main thing is that you have all the sections. So you have your unit overview, you have your lesson plans for both numeracy and literacy, you have your assessment, you have your reflection, you have your ICT, you have your diversity. We've had a lot of people going, wow, my lesson plans are so big because I've included all the parts of the lesson plans. And it is really good if you can bring them down because it stops me having to filter through and try and find all the bits. But if there is no way you can bring those lesson plans down, then you just have to submit what you've got. Do your best with that. I'm looking at some of these people who've saying they've got huge lots of lesson plan sheets, and I'm thinking, oh no, this is going to take a very long time to mark, but especially when I've got all the reports and everything else going on. So just try as best you can to condense them down, maybe bring the font down, maybe bring the spacings down. Whatever you can do would be fabulous. Okay, yeah. Also with the Collaborate links, if you cannot find the Collaborate links for any of the assignments, go to the Collaborate button on the left-hand side of your screen, click on that, and then down the side you'll see there's a tab for recordings. Click on that. You probably won't see them all, but you've got to change the date range. So if you change the date range at the top, all the recordings will come up, and then you can choose and go through all those recordings if you need to find them. If not, let me know and I will get hold of them for you. But just as a quick thing, because I know often when you're doing assignments, you want to get the answer right then. You don't want to wait for me to answer. So if you need that, that's there. Right. Now, just a few concerns I've had with different mentor teachers. Make sure your lesson plans are getting done 24 hours before the lesson, just so that mentor teachers can look over them. It's really important that they can, because often they will see what's wrong with them before you fall in the pit hole. And they will be able to give you some guidance on how to go around fixing the little bits and pieces that can cause problems. Or if the resources aren't going to be there, they'll be able to spot that those resources aren't going to be there and give you some ideas for alternatives, which are really important. Also, we've had some people having trouble arriving on time. There's a variety of reasons, not having a car, cars breaking down, all different things, school drop-offs. It is important if you are not going to arrive at the school on time that you let your MT know, and should never be a regular thing. So when you're a teacher, obviously you cannot arrive late unless it's a total disaster. But if you were to arrive late every day, you would end up not having a job and you wouldn't have any time to prepare. The children would be sitting there waiting for you to get to school. Parents would be up in arms. So it's very important that you try to develop that professionalism now while you're in placement. When you get to your final placement, it's going to be even more difficult because you're taking more lessons and there'll be more stress. So it's good to get into that pattern of arriving nice and early now. Great. Finally, portfolios are going to be next after we finish task 2. I was going to put up a thread for portfolio examples last week, except I got stuck with all the mentor reports and emailing back and forth. So tomorrow, first thing, I will be putting up a portfolio example thread, and especially those people who finish their placement now, if you want to start putting some ideas of templates you're using for portfolios up there, I'll share them between the groups so that we get a nice range and everybody can get ideas on how they're setting up the portfolios and what other people are doing. So you've sort of got a comparative of where you're going with it and whether you're on the right track, because it's really hard to know without a template if you are on the right track. And it's good to see other people and have that chat and communicate and maybe build ideas and collaborate with each other now that we're gradually coming in off placement. That would be fantastic. Okay, those people who are finishing up, really look after yourself. The people who have finished, get back on the DB and start supporting each other, and hopefully we can support everyone through this placement. I know it can be really trying, and we have a whole lot of people who've had some difficulties and are really, really trying. So just keep trying to support everybody um, and help them through these final weeks. And hopefully, we'll all get there intact. Okay, team, well done. And I'll speak to you again next week. Remember, if you need an extension, do not stress, let me know and we can sort it out, because I really don't want any more stress on people than already is. Okay, thanks. Have a great week and I'll chat to you soon.